Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. Whether you join me on the live stream or you're watching it back on replay, it's great to have you with me. So, welcome to the channel. It's Time Out with Angela, and today I'm going to be talking about cravings. Yeah, cravings. What's going on when we have cravings, but also how we deal with cravings. But before I jump into that, uh, just want to welcome you to the channel. Here at the channel, Time Out with Angela, I share all sorts of tips and hacks around the weight loss and wellness journey. I've been on a journey myself to improve my health and to lose weight, and to date have lost 115 pounds, which is 8 stone, just over 8 stone, 8 stone 2 pounds. And I share my tips and hacks, the things that have worked for me. It might not work for you, and that's absolutely fine, but in me sharing my story, you might be able to find something that resonates with you. So alongside sharing my tips and hacks, we also do a little bit of cooking, cook some recipes. I'll do shopping hauls and clothing hauls, and yeah, lots and lots of chit chat all about the health and wellness journey. So if this is your first time being with me, then it's great to have you. Feel free to click that subscribe button and also the notification bell if what this channel is about resonates with you. So what I want to share with you today is about cravings. So cravings have, I think I'm not alone when I say that cravings are a natural part of everyday life and the journey. And for a long time I would have cravings, and it would often be for usually something sweet. I'd crave something sweet. And on my journey, especially at this, I often refer to my journey in two halves. So the early part of my journey, when I returned to Weight Watchers, I'm following the Weight Watchers plan. For the first I rejoined Weight Watchers in 2019. So for the first 2 to 3 years, I didn't really understand me and my body and what was going on for me. But I mean, I was successful following the plan, and I'd lost 4 stone, but did regain some in lockdown. But my second half of the journey was when I had an epiphany. I really stopped, did a lot of work, a lot of personal development work, went deep into understanding me, what makes me tick, what works for me, what food works for me, the habits that were right for me, but also the habits that weren't right for me. And whilst I was following the Weight Watchers plan, not everything that and Weight Watchers do really encourage some fantastic healthy habits, but not all of those habits were right for me. So once I got on board with that without the guilt, I felt that I was shaping the plan to suit me. So that's often the second half of my journey. But once I got to that point and really started to understand me and what was going to work for me personally, rather than going along with the masses in the community, which is fine for them, but it wasn't quite right for me. And once I started to unpick that and do what worked for me, I really started to see success. So the bulk of my weight loss, which is 115 pounds, has come from the second half of the journey. So cravings have always been part of me, part of my journey. It's always been there. And when I used to get cravings, I used to say to myself, what is it I want? Yeah, I used to start cupboard surfing and think, what is it that I want to eat? And used to find plenty of things to eat and drink. And it was often those sugary foods, the foods that I thought was going to soothe me, the foods that I felt was going to comfort me, the foods that were going to quell that craving. But what I realised after really thinking about it and analysing it was that those foods that I was stuffing down wasn't satisfying my craving at all. It might satisfy me. That biscuit may have satisfied me for a few minutes, but then I'd go back for another one. And then I'd have that second biscuit, and then I would go for a third biscuit. And before I knew it, I'd eaten my way through half a packet of biscuits or more. And I realised at some point that I was asking myself the wrong question. I was asking myself, when I had this craving come up and I wanted the sugar and I wanted the sweet treats and I wanted to eat, I was asking myself, what is it that I'm wanting to eat? What do you want to eat? And I would fill that void with that food. And I was never satisfied. I was never satisfied. But I started to realise I was asking myself the wrong question. I was asking myself the wrong question. I was asking myself, when that craving came up, what do I want to eat? I realised that the right question was, what are you feeling? What am I feeling? Because what I'd realised on my journey was that whenever I was craving food, it was linked to an emotion. I was either cold, I was tired, I was stressed out, I was feeling lonely, I was feeling anxious, I was feeling tired, I was feeling fed up, I was feeling frustrated. I was feeling unloved, uncared for. I was feeling these emotions. And I thought that the way to deal with those emotions was to eat. After all, that's what I'd been taught. I'd been taught that all my life, is that when I have these emotions, whatever the emotions is, whether it's a happy emotion, a good emotion, a positive emotion, whether I'm feeling happy and joyful, whether I'm feeling sad, to eat. How many times have, you've had something to celebrate and somebody says, let's go out to eat? Or you're feeling a bit sad and your friend comes round with something to eat. Or I have a lovely friend, and every time we have an argument, he brings me something to eat. But I also do that to other people as well. When my grandkids have done something really, really good, I go and buy them a treat. When my son did brilliantly in school, I would go and buy him something to eat. When he was feeling sad or lonely or upset, I'd cook him something to eat. We fill that void with food. So I got to a point where when I had that craving, instead of asking myself, what is it that I want to eat? I realised that was the wrong question. I needed to ask myself, what am I feeling? What am I feeling? Because I'd realised that when I had those emotions, when those feelings came up, whatever the feelings were, happy, good, bad, negative, sad, tiredness, etc., when those feelings came up, I would suppress them with food. I'd push those feelings down with food. I'd eat the cakes, I'd eat the biscuits, I'd eat the chocolate, I'd drink the alcohol, I would, shove down the pizza. Even if it was healthy food, I would still eat to push those feelings down. But those feelings didn't stay down for very long. They would soon come up again. And then I would eat more to shove them down. And those feelings would come up again and I would shove them down. And this was this vicious cycle. So I don't know if you guys resonate with that, whether that seems familiar to you, is that when we are craving something and we think, I fancy something sweet, I fancy something savoury. And I'd realised I wasn't even hungry. But I'd been taught, and we all been taught, to stuff those feelings down, push those feelings down with food. So I got to a point in my journey where I started to think and started to follow through. When those feelings come up, instead of saying, what do I feel like eating? And start flicking through the cupboard and saying, there's some nice crisps, there's some nice biscuits, or I haven't got any of those in. Let me nip to the local shop and buy some. And when I did, instead of going for that one pack of chocolates, I'd come out with like a huge selection. Instead of spending £1, I'd spend a tenner on snacks and treats and feasting my eyes in the shop, because I was like, this is going to soothe me. This is going to make me feel better, because I'm pushing those feelings down. The same way when I fell over as a child and grazed my knee and I was crying, here you go, here's something to eat. When I was upset in life, here you go, have something to eat. When I turned to my girlfriends or my partner or family for support, here you go, have something to eat. And I'd learnt that behaviour. So I started on this trajectory to start asking myself, instead of thinking, what can I eat? And cupboard surfing, I started just to take that step back and think to myself, and I'd have that conversation with myself. I'd just talk to myself and I'd say, Angela, what's going on with you? What are you feeling? What are you feeling? And I'd have to stop and just think. And I'd be like, you know what? I feel tired. How many times have we felt tired and felt, I need to eat something before we go to bed? And that was me. I used to eat before I went to bed. I would say, what am I feeling, Angela? And I'd be like, do you know what? I'm feeling a bit lonely. I've worked at home all week. It's the weekend. I'm on my own. Everybody's busy. Do you know what? I'm going to find friendship in food. Because food's never going to let me down. Food's never going to disappoint me. I'm going to get that high with food. Or I might think, do you know what? I've worked all day. It's been a really good day. It's the end of the day. There's nothing on TV. I've been TV surfing. I think I'll have something to eat. I'll have a little snack. And then I realised, actually, you're not even hungry. Not even hungry because I've had my dinner. It was all in my head. And I realised I was bored. I was bored. So I started to eat. After all, it's something to do. I've got to get in the kitchen. I've got to start cupboard surfing. I've got to get ingredients out. I'm busying myself cooking and preparing food and eating food, stuffing those feelings down. So I started to realise that on my journey, that whenever and there is something there about, sometimes when we are craving, especially things like chocolate or salty things, sometimes it can be deficiencies. So always, if you think it's a deficiency, do talk to your medical practitioner about that. But in this case, it wasn't a deficiency. I was suppressing my feelings, the boredom, the tiredness, the loneliness, the sadness, the stress, suppressing those feelings with food. And that compounded my weight problem. And that's why I was going up one week and down the next. Up next week, up, down, up, down. Because I was in this vicious cycle of not recognising. And that was the danger. I hadn't recognised what was going on with me. And I had to just take that step back and ask, instead of asking the question, what do I fancy eating, when that craving came up, I started tuning in and listening to my body and saying, what's going on with you, Angela? What is it you're feeling? What is it you're feeling? What's going on? And then I started to realise all of those things. Yeah, food is very addictive. Yeah, and we've all been in that place. Yeah, so, I had to listen to that. And then I started to build in strategies, started to think, okay, so in the summer months when I'm feeling a bit bored, I can go out in the garden. I know I can got a list of friends that I can call. I've got friends to hang out with at the weekend now. I've got my grandchildren that I can see. And even like at weekends in the evening, I can go and see them. They can come and see me. We talk on the phone. I also have my crafts as well, my jewellery making, my colouring. I've got a list of programmes that, I can tune into. There's always something in the house to do. I've now got my cats as well. There was always that. I've now got a list of things that I can do. And even like when the summer comes, thinking, do you know what? I can go for a walk, or I can go to the gym. I can do something. Having that list of things ready in the toolbox. So when those feelings come up and you think it's a craving for food, you can then ask yourself, what is it I'm feeling today? Why do I feel like this? What's just happened? Maybe I saw something online that triggered me. Maybe I had a conversation with somebody and they just left me feeling a bit bruised. Maybe I haven't spoken to anybody today because I'm working at home and I just feel a bit isolated, a bit lonely. What is it that I'm feeling? Maybe I'm absolutely shattered. Maybe I'm really, really tired. I need to just go and have a bath, have a hot drink and just relax. What is it I'm feeling? Rather than what is it that I want to eat? Yeah. There's a saying, questions are the answers. And sometimes it is asking ourselves that alternative question, that different question. It can get us to the answer that we really want. See, guys. Oh, I'm glad you like that. I'm glad you like that, Nita. So, guys, that is my thought for the day. It's Monday. It's my busiest day. I'm back at work in literally under 10 minutes. In under 10 minutes, I am back at work. Yeah, in 9 minutes, I'm back at work. So I am going to leave it there for you. I have committed to doing a live every day, even if it's a short one. And today is a short one. And I'm back at work. I'm going to go make me a cup of tea and get back onto work. But I hope you found that of interest. I hope that was food for thought. And I hope that will help you. If it does, give this little live stream a like, give it a like, and leave a comment below. Yeah, leave a comment below. Guys, I will be on tomorrow. I've got a lot more time tomorrow, so we can have a good old proper catch up and a chin wag. If you're not in my Facebook group, feel free to join me on Facebook. It's Time Out with Angela, and also feel free to join me on my page, which is Time Out with Angela as well. And what I will now do is post when I'm going live. Guys, thank you so much. Hope you found that of value. If you've joined me, if you didn't catch the beginning, I would really help me out if you just go back to the beginning and watch it in full. And the other way that you could really help this channel out is just by watching another video or another live. And if you could just let it run right to the end, it will really, really make a difference. Guys, thank you so much for being with me. Hi Marva, hi Tony K, hi Tony and Nita. Great to have you with me today. I will see you tomorrow. Take care, guys. Bye.